We're in. We're going. We are
All
back.
right.
It's we got the whole gang here. It's the Yoru Enjoyers Anonymous. It's been it's been a dark road of villainy lately. Ooh. Ooh, this was a spicy chapter for that. We will get into that discussion very soon here. Oh, so good. But before we get into that, just reminders in case you got lost. This is Public Safety Special Broadcast. I am, of course, your host, Secret Doves. Welcome back to the premiere weekly Chainsaw Man discussion on YouTube. Like, subscribe, do everything. You know what I mean? Tell your dad, tell your mom, tell your dog, tell your cat. Tell everybody it's happening right now. We are back with
Uh,
another chapter discussion. We got the two great Yorful guests for your chapter this week. I'd like to have my guests go around, give their name, age, devil contract. And of course, Seer Dove's age 34. My contract is with the War Devil. Aleko, go ahead.
All right, I'm Lego. I'm 19, and unfortunately, my contract this week is with the Break Week Devil. It's unfortunate after such a great
Devastating.
chapter.
That was so fucked up,
you
man.
know,
Fuck.
uh,
Fuck. Yeah. Terrifying, Devil. Xavier, go ahead.
all right. My name is Xavier Ortiz, Xavier Ortiz. I am 31. My current contract is with the Jap Devil, but I am in talks to get a contract with the War Devil as well. Let's see what she
Wow.
has.
Yeah. She's handing
Probably
them
for my
out.
sanity, but all right.
she's she's handing them out. Everybody lock
Oh,
in because your name could get called up at any time. Wow. All right. Thank you both. We're back here talking about chapter 176. Is that correct? The correct number? Let me
yep.
pull it up
yeah.
here. 176 of Chainsaw Man. Ooh, I gotta remember that number. It was absolutely fantastic. Let me just start off. You can get you guys with your, I guess, overall thoughts on the chapter before we dive into the specifics.
All right. I don't know if you want to go first, Aligo.
You can go if you want.
No. All right. So my overall thoughts in this chapter was amazing. This was peak. This is peak Chainsaw Man. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I loved the build up, the starting off slow with the conversation and then moving into the big explosive reveal of where that conversation leads. Uh, this feels very climactic. This feels very endgame. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very worried because near the end game of things, Fujimoto tends to let his insanity, run wild.
Well,
So
he's okay.
I'm
He's already
ecstatic,
let a lot of
Yeah.
fucking
uh,
insane shit out.
and we're not even at the end yet. We might be close to it, but I don't think we're at the end yet. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of big chapters coming. I can feel it. But I loved
Yeah.
it, man. This was a great chapter, fantastic chapter.
Yeah, it was absolutely fucking sick. Lego, what was your overall takes?
I was so happy when this chapter released. I It's like running around my house, not being thinking correctly. I said a
Yeah.
bunch of bullshit on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let it out.
fantastic chapter. Definitely a top 10 for part 2. Maybe it'll still stay that way. Fujimoto tends to let yeah, have his crazier chapters near the end, so maybe
Yeah,
we'll get something like this again. But
this is definitely a highlight. Like Xavier said, it feels like climactic moments. It's been I keep saying it, but you know buckle in because I think since not too long ago we've entered that final stretch. We're heading into whatever he was what like okay, I want to talk about something again a little general before we get into the specifics of the chapter itself, which is a lot of interesting
Right.
stuff to go through. um but I can't tell where the story is going at all.
Oh yeah.
It's
That's a very interesting thing about where the story's going, like, right? Like the massive unpredictability of everything, because you think something's gonna maybe drag on, and it absolutely doesn't, and it lasts
no,
half a chapter,
no,
and then we're
like
starting a whole new conflict after that nobody could have predicted was gonna come after that. And it seems like Fujimoto's just setting off different bombs, for
right.
lack of a better term, like
He's just
everywhere, and they
going, going,
fizzle
going.
out as soon as they explode. So we're like headless chickens right now.
like
Yeah,
I try to predict like every week with the bingo cards, and oh, my dog is barking.
it's all
Um,
good. This is just like another guest, the fourth guest on the show. We love that.
like, but I mean, I'm wrong like 90% of the time. Wait,
Yeah,
I'll
it's very weird. It's you know, usually when you get towards the end game of a story, you can kind of imagine what is going to happen. No, we are getting a bit of a payoff that everybody was waiting for with this um, final chapter. So let's get into the specifics of the chapter. We pick up with a Asa and Yoru conversation. Wow, we needed this. We needed that.
Yeah,
Whew.
we've been asking for this for so long.
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, and it's a pretty interesting one. It's a pretty Yoru centric one. Everyone's been waiting for like a Asa deep dive because she's been so absent in the story since the falling arc ended, and we didn't quite get that yet. Not that's still waiting a little bit more on Asa's perspective for herself. Although we get a little bit more of some interesting things here. But this was mostly a conversation about Yori's thoughts. Obviously, finally, oh my god, oh I've been waiting for this since the very beginning. All the reveals we got here. It's pretty interesting.
Oh yeah.
The first thing we get is very rare Chainsaw Man power scaling. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about where we end up with Yoru Asa's power scaling setup because it's pretty fucked up. And then all said and done,
Hmm. Well, I don't know if we want to go, Lego. I can go after you. It's fine.
you just dive in,
So
just jump in. It'll be all be good.
like, so the one of the interesting things here is they can now make weapons just by thinking about it, and they don't have to say the name anymore.
Oh yeah.
Which
Mm-hmm.
that's a new thing. When Asa made the her apartment sword, she still said the name, but that's changed now. It's made her a lot more powerful, I think.
Okay, because
Oh
they
yeah.
say in this chapter that when she made her 606 sword, that
Yeah, but
she didn't
I mean, she
have
did,
to say
right?
it, but she did say it, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit scuffed there. Maybe he's sort of like retconning that a little bit, that she
Well,
didn't
I don't know if it's much of a
didn't
retcon, but if it's a retcon, like he did it really well because in the chapter, Yoru and Asa are confirming that they're able to do this. So
right,
it
right.
seems to me that
So
when Yoru powered up, she didn't know to what extent her powers like went up and her
yeah,
capabilities expanded,
Yeah.
and they were like slowly. Again, this is something that I really want to see more of, because this is getting sidelined way too much for my liking. It seems to me that they were slowly, while they were off panel and off screen, they were slowly experimenting and figuring out what they can do. And
right,
I would really love to see that nitty gritty part of the relationship, and Yoru
Uh,
and Asa getting along, because clearly when they show up at the detention center, they're getting along way better than they used to. Like they were in sync. Yoru was complimenting Asa. They were finishing each other's thoughts. Like it was crazy. But yeah,
yeah.
I
I will
really
say
love that.
that does develop quite a bit over the first 35 chapters up to 127. They do end up interacting, but it has definitely gotten to a new extent, right? It's gotten deeper, maybe too deep. That's sort of the implication. It's like, oh man, something sinister is going on. I will say, the no verbalization was there in 167, where Yoru apparently makes a knife
Yeah,
without saying
yeah.
yeah.
anything. And
That's a call that I missed out on, because I was defending tooth and nail that she did say something, but again,
the thing is,
Fujimoto likes to throw in little sneaky panels where
yeah,
you're not completely sure what's going on.
that's right.
But yeah,
It could
that
have
one caught
been, she could have said something and you just didn't like hear it as a reader, but it's also like he usually doesn't do that, right? Like if
me.
people
Yeah.
say something, there's a speech bubble for it, even if they're whispering. But confirmed that this was a real thing that he was setting up for the no mouths moment, which was fucking sick.
Mhm.
And also, well, we'll get to that later. So that's the first power scaling thing we get in this conversation. They can make weapons without saying a name. Apparently this was how it went down with Asa in the apartment. Like that's why she was able to get it off fast enough, even though Yoshida is faster. That's the little ooh. So Yoshida fans, you got a little boost there. He was fighting thought, not just speaking. So there's little hacks. There's hacks going on. Uh, okay. The rest of the conversation though is oh god, I hate this guy. That'll be. It's mostly about
Uh, my
Yoru
comrade.
and yeah, the Yoru and Chainsaw Man's conflict. So let's go into this. What do you guys think about these details for Yoru?
I think it's really interesting. The most interesting part is, of course, I'm a really big fan of characterization, and getting to see Yoru actually show some hesitance, actually show that she cares about something, like deeply
Mm-hmm.
cares about them. Like
Yeah.
the way she was speaking is not like oh, I have to beat him because he beat me up. No, I have to beat him because I have somebody that I want to rescue.
Yeah,
I
she
want
wants to
to
save
free
Yeah.
people.
somebody. That's why I have to beat Chainsaw Man. You know, later there's also an egotistical part of it, because she does also admit afterwards that she wants to be feared more than Chainsaw Man.
That's right.
She feels like she's lagging behind him in that. She doesn't like that. She wants to be on top. And so there's a bit of egotistical, egocentric part of it, but
Yeah.
I really love that part of, I have somebody that I have to save.
Yeah, there's that sort of like two two-sidedness to it, right? That we saw it with Makima's goal
Yep.
before, where sort of like Pochita was like, yeah, she wanted an equal relationship, an equal family, but also like she wanted to keep Chainsaw Man for herself, not just like anybody. She wanted to be with
Hmm.
her, with the person she's a fan of, and just be, you know, just have him for herself. So Dior, it's like she wants to rescue her battle brothers, her comrades in arms, but also, yeah, she wants to rescue her comrades to prove that she's the best. So yeah,
Hmm.
have those two sides of
Mhm.
it. I love it. I fucking love
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
I really like the those like both the fact that she has other people that she cares about, and that little egotistical moment where she says that she wants to kill him for personal reasons. She wants to prove herself. It's both really humanizing, especially for because Yoru is, for lack of a better word, very devilish usually.
Yeah, yeah,
She's like acts very like logical, only centered on her goals, and
right.
I think we get like two reasons that are very human.
Yes. Still very evil. That was a big
Yeah.
Yeah,
discussion.
yeah, but
She's
within, like, oh, sorry, but within
because
that trust,
well, go ahead, go ahead.
go ahead. I can
Oh,
jump in.
I
I
was
can
just gonna
jump in
say,
after.
right. I was just gonna say, it's still very evil because we get this moment where and this is where we get a little bit of like uh, Asa's flavor coming in. Asa, da, no.
Oh,
You know, Asa asking her like, "Oh, you could do this stuff. You had these comrades and these weapons you could make. Why didn't you just make them? I gave up all this shit. I fucked my whole life. I lost my fucking arm. What's the deal with that?" And Nora's like, "I don't. Who gives a shit about that? Fuck you, Asa. Like, shut the fuck up, stupid human. House,
like these are my
money."
kids. This isn't money.
Whatever,
These are my
like
kids.
this,
What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
yeah, human life, what a joke. Get out of here, kid.
I
So
Yeah.
don't know.
still,
I interpret it in another way because Yoru should know what guilt Asa felt. They share emotions. I think
right,
he literally just saying these kids are so much more important to me than everything you offer that.
yeah, I mean, but that's pretty fucked up, right? Like, you
Yeah.
were still very, like, she's not even worried about it. She doesn't even care. She's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
that was really fucked up for you, but like, don't even joke.
Don't even joke about
We're
this.
not talking about that right now, asshole. Okay, all right. Yeah, I was there. Whatever. Fine, great.
Yeah, but
Big deal.
oh, what I wanted to add to the conversation, like a little bit earlier, like it has a lot to do with this, but on the topic of, the humanizing part of Yoru, like this stage of the story, I think it also has a lot to do that she's now starting to build trust with Asa. So now she's
Mm-hmm.
opening up on all the things that are
Right.
driving her. I think there was always these things about her were always there. We would get little snippets of Yoru. Yoru is not
Yeah, getting
entirely a cold killing
frustrated.
war machine.
Yeah.
Right. Getting
Just
angry,
as
getting
now she finally
frustrated.
trusts Asa enough to,
Uh,
to let her in into the more vulnerable parts, more vulnerable parts of her. All right.
yeah. Also an aspect of Asa, sort of like stepping in, because like here, this whole conversation comes from Asa trying to talk Yori down. I did want to discuss that
Yeah.
moment here because there's some really nice detail oriented writing here. But yeah, Asa's trying to stop Yoru from fighting Chainsaw Man, which is an interesting thing. What did you guys think about that aspect of it, about the Asa side of things here?
Yeah. It's it makes sense that she wouldn't want to like hurt Chainsaw Man, but it's interesting because that goes against Fami's plan for
Right.
how they wanted to save him. Like the whole
Mhm.
idea was they have to fight Chainsaw Man in order to save him, but Asa right here is trying to stop Yoru from doing that.
Right.
I really like that part of their conversation. Like I really like when Asa is starting to get into a role where she's starting to take more of a command, but
Mm-hmm.
she's more on the
Yeah,
ethical, the more brainy side of things. And it's nice to see that when Asa speaks up about these things, like Yoru listens to her.
Yes.
She listens to
yeah,
her. She works through what Asa's telling her, and in a really sick way. But her
Yes.
relationship with Yoru has helped her come into her own as a person who can find her voice and talk and speak out.
Yeah.
She has something that she wants
yeah,
to do. She realizes that there's a problem in Yoru wanting to just kill Chainsaw Man, and she's trying to find a solution. She's trying to talk the war devil down from killing. It takes a lot of confidence and balls to do that, honestly.
Yeah, she's this sort of answers a question about like how brainwashed is she about by
Mm.
Fanny, and like how much does she buy into the plan. Not that much apparently. Enough to propose to Yoru that they ditch the whole thing. Just you know, let's just be friends. Let's just get along. Why can't we just like Chainsaw Man now? That's what I do. Roll with me. But
Oh
yeah,
man, that didn't
we
work out so well because
uh,
this happens before 167.
yeah.
So
mm,
Asa did not expect how that would turn out.
That is not, a little bit. Maybe you're trusting a devil too much there, Asa. Still fucking selfish, evil creatures. So don't get uh, don't get too caught up. Um, we've seen that from Asa. We see them uh, talking. Okay, there's an interesting thing here. So people were discussing when this conversation happens. We actually get a little detail that places it in the timeline. There's actually actually some good timeline work, um, where Asa talks about defeating Denji, fighting Denji. So at this point, they know that Denji is Chainsaw Man, which means this happens in between the facility and the the final fight, the trip to the sushi parlor. So here they're talking about Denji is Chainsaw Man, and you know, I don't know, man. Asa, finds out that Denji is Chainsaw Man, and then she's like, "Wait, we need to stop. Oh, help me."
Isn't this your boyfriend? Oh
Uh,
man.
God, yeah.
Haruka,
People were
Haruka with the introductions, man. Hey, it's your boyfriend.
Yeah,
Oh man, gotta love that guy. But one
I
thing I
still
really wanted to
wonder.
say about that as well is, you know, they know what it is. I find it really interesting how calm Yoru is about just finding out that this guy that they went on a date with, they've been talking to, on and off, was actually Chainsaw Man. Yoru seems eerily calm that her lifelong enemy, her lifelong rival, is knocked out on the other side of that door. They just found out it's him, and
Well, okay,
she
she
seems
now
very calm about it. Right.
at this point though she's aware that Denji Chainsaw Man is not
The
uh
same.
Pochita Chainsaw Man, right? So she
Right.
Yeah.
doesn't care about this guy, which causes a whole bunch of issues. She just wants, Pochita out, just like every fucking buddy else, right? Yoru doesn't give a shit about Denji, just interested in Pochita. But Asa
Which
here
brings
is
up a
talking about
question.
Denji. Yes.
Right. It brings up a question, like, how much did Fami tell them about the mechanics of separating one Chainsaw Man from the other? I know she spoke about the removing the heart and doing all of that, but uh, with with a tank arm and a gun arm, I don't know how that's gonna be possible. I don't even know if that's in Yoru's mind right now. Oh, we have to take the heart out before I kill him, so we can save Denji. I don't think she
I
cares
don't
at the
think
moment.
so. I don't think so.
And also, we
Uh,
don't know if Fami is being 100% truthful. So,
I mean,
no.
yeah, I don't think so.
yeah, yeah, and it's worrying. It's worrying. But again, we don't know where this fight is gonna go. Like,
Okay,
we
we
don't
don't know
know
where
if
this fight is
Yoru
going to
wins.
go from here, but we do know where it goes since the discussions. They have a little talk, and Yoru's like, I'm going to save my comrades. I will do anything to beat Chainsaw Man. She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to turn her comrades into weapons, but she's going to do it. And then we get a little bit deeper of a reveal on the next 2 pages. This is where we find out that the relationship here is not just comrades. So let's talk about this aspect of what's going on.
Oh, all right. Aligo, I don't know if you have something to say about this.
You can go.
All right. So one thing that I did have in mind when listening to this part of the story is that we know that there's a distinction between her children and her comrades. So there are devils that have some sort of relation to her, but apparently it's not in the same nature as gun and tank, which are inventions that came out from war. They're a necessity. They became a necessity
Right,
because of war. So
right.
they're considered children. That's how I rationalize it, at least.
That makes
But
sense.
these
Conceptually.
comrades apparently are not weapons or concepts born from war, but have some relation to her per se.
Do we know
For,
I'm
anything
thinking.
about that? I don't know.
I
if
think
we're
it's
going
mostly
by that,
like,
then Nuke should also be a child of hers, because, well,
Yeah, bombs.
nuclear weapons were
yeah.
definitely invented
I
because
mean,
of war.
she hasn't been specific about Nuke's relationship to her. She just said she
Yeah.
wants it back.
We
Uh,
don't know. Well, okay. So here's why I think you're wrong.
no, go ahead.
Okay.
um, just going through the details of the conversation, she says, turning those two into weapons would run counter to saving my comrades. In the conversation, uses the same word again. So she's talking about tank and Gun, and she doesn't want to make them weapons because they're her comrades. That's what she's trying to save, right? Like this is the
Right.
opposite of what she wants to do. But then she comes in and starts talking about her children. So she may have been sort of like just holding back a little bit of the emotional of the final little area of her emotions from Asa, not just that, like, these aren't just my buddies, these are my children, right? I'm the fucking mother of weapons. So, you know,
It's possible that comrades was, she used that word as a means to not fully, not fully let Asa in and what's going on. But
Yeah.
from the first chapters, I think we get kind of an idea. I don't know, maybe you guys remember it better than I do, but I think we get kind of an idea that if they're thinking about something, the other one knows it.
this is
But
not
It's
because when
only for
Yoru when
Asa. Like,
Yoru
this is
interrupts Asa and says like, "Oh, if you ever even think about telling people about me, you're dead," and
it's like
Asa
this
doesn't say anything.
it's not in the reverse. Like, Asa can't
yeah,
read Yoru's thoughts.
right. Asa, that's why Asa, you know, is getting this information revealed through a specific conversation, right?
Hmm.
Yoru is the one in control of the Asa Yoru dynamic. Is not symmetrical, which is of course the fucked up
All
thing
right.
about it, right? Which is what makes it like evil and villainous and messed up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, that's the horror.
Yeah, but at the end, I'll ask myself and everybody here, like, will Yoru actually leave if she wins?
I, I think she's planning to, but I don't know if she
You think so?
eventually will. Yeah, I think she
Yeah,
was being honest.
I think she's genuine now. Current, like she said it genuinely back in the day, but who knows? That's one of the man. That's a big question mark point for the story. Depends a lot on where the story goes. Depends a lot on if the order actually wins, which we still
Yeah,
don't know.
that's also
Yeah.
true. Like,
You know,
Yoru might not win, and we might have her. You know, I don't know, all the way to part three. Who knows,
yeah, you know what I
uh,
mean. I know. I see where you're heading. Right. So we get this big moment that Tank and Gun, oh boy, you know,
That
are
that that's a big one. I have some
that's a
thoughts
big
about that, but
one.
go off, man, because
Yeah.
it gets
Tank
deep.
and Tank and Gun are Yoru's children, and she summons them. Now, here we get a, another Yoru feat, power scalers locking right here. Because she summons them respectively from the Gulf of Mexico and Russia. And Gulf of Mexico is basically on the opposite side of the planet from Tokyo. And both of these, one of them is being held in a facility, which does not seem that strong, and the other one is being held under a mountain, which that's pretty strong. So and they both like warp instantly, but they also travel. It's it's something. That's quite a scaling step up for the
like,
weaponization ability
Yeah,
here.
I haven't done the math myself, but I saw some people say that that it was faster than light. Which,
Light
it
I
speed,
it,
mean,
it
like,
what?
crushes it.
Fujimoto doesn't care, but
Right, right, right.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. If you do, I
Fujimoto
mean,
Fujimoto is in Gege. You know,
yeah.
he's not gonna
he's
go
not gonna.
super into the nitty gritty about, oh, this is
Right.
how this works, this is how they get this fast. No,
No,
Fujimoto is just gonna give us that impact, slap us in the face, and and then tell us
yes,
to deal.
I would say, the literal speeds here are it's a little crazy because, well, it happens, in the final moment before she there's a chainsaw coming for her. That's an interesting one. Pochita was he was gonna do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Pochita was there. He was ready to chainsaw. So, for if we're going on the understood um, perspective of like Pochita acting on Denji's emotions in some way. I don't, you know what I
Mm,
mean? We
yeah.
understand. We understand exactly where at least Pochita's perspective is at after in the events in the wake of
Kushida
167. We need to
Kushida
hear.
definitely has autonomy. I think I think he's consciously, like from what we get from part one, he's consciously paying attention to Denji's wishes. He reminds himself what Denji wants, what he feels in certain situations, but he still has agency. Like Poshida can still enact his own plans, his own actions that
Hmm.
don't necessarily have to be attached to
Right.
what he wants. And again, like everyone, well, not everyone, just Makima. Makima is the only one who has talked about him in that level of detail. Says that he's a being of pure chaos, like
Yeah.
completely detached from Denji. His actions have no explanations. The only pattern that
Well.
can be said to be kind of predictable is that if you ask for help, and that might happen, if you ask for help, he will come and save you and then kill you,
Like
Yes.
which is
even
also
then, he didn't
very
kill
interesting.
Kobeni, and
Yeah.
she did ask for help. So
That's
yeah,
right. That's
Uh,
right. So,
Makima said that, but after that we get the contrarian position of Kushida of, I'm just gonna save Kobeni. We're gonna go on a
right.
date,
Pochita
and
did save
yeah,
Kobeni and then tried the way that Makima uh,
Mhm.
defeated Pochita was by attacking Kobeni, right?
Yeah, but
And
also,
Pochita tried to save her. So it's even beyond sort of uh, it's Pochita's a very opaque character still. Even everything, we still don't know what the fuck is going on.
oh yeah, we still I'm still reeling from the Pushida that we got back when at the tail end of the church arc, when they burned down Denji's house, when they took Denji
Yes.
to the detention center.
yeah.
Fuck.
The Pushida from that part seems so cold, so
Yes.
it's just
Devilish. Yeah, that's
like,
the
oh
Yeah.
man,
devilish
who
one.
cares, dude? He
What do
was
you
kind
want
of
to
like
do,
cracking
Benji?
jokes at Denji being like dismantled. Like, oh, how are you gonna do that without any legs? Like,
Like,
come on, man.
bro, you don't
Isn't
have any
that your best
legs.
friend?
What a fucking wise ass.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
a little bit, but she just felt a little more devilly lately. Maybe as he's gotten more powerful, you know what I mean? As he's
Well,
powered
that's
up,
true.
he's
Yeah.
getting a little bit more the devil juice back. He's a little bit more chainsaw man, right?
Oh, that
Oh,
reminds me, like what Makima said about power. The stronger she gets, the more devilish, the more fiendish. You know that those
mm,
negative
Yeah.
aspects of her get worse, even in her
yeah.
personality and in her psychology. So this is probably what's happening with Pushida. Like, he's just getting more colder, more
Cheetah
uncaring, because he's
Cheetah
just getting
and
stronger and stronger.
the Yoru at the same time, right? And that's Yoru was talking about that in this conversation that the stronger she gets, the stronger Pochita gets, and vice versa, because the conflict at play is the Chainsaw Man War, right?
Hmm.
So their power is tied
But
together. Why? What is Fami doing with this? This is
but
crazy.
we have a really good setup for Yoru to get a leg up on Chainsaw Man, and it
Yeah.
has to do with what happened with Tank and Gun, because I am pretty sure that both Tank and Gun were huge deterrent for world wars, because Russia
Oh,
has
okay.
gun in their possession. They can hold certain nations back from attacking them because don't you dare, we got gun. And then
Oh
I
yeah, yeah,
assume
yeah,
the
yeah.
Gulf of
Yeah,
Mexico
yeah.
might be America. Like maybe they
Probably.
they have they have Tank under control, and America's like, oh, don't mess with us, we got Tank. But now
Right.
Yoru removed those two walls,
That's right.
It's
stopping both America and Russia from attacking each other.
like they might get involved with all those unspecified wars that have been going on.
Yeah,
Yes,
there's a huge
unspecified
power backing.
wars. There's also the fact that now, sort of, uh, with Chainsaw Man and the War Devil, terrorizing Tokyo, what the fuck is gonna happen with that? Japan has all of these extremely dangerous devils just fucking out and about, right? And we have to presume that, like,
And you got Fami,
Japan's
who
not the
has
only
control
people.
currently of true primals.
Yeah,
And Fami's still running around.
right. So there's a lot going down in Tokyo, and we've been getting hints a little bit the whole story, as sort of the way he's been telling the story is sort of like this the whole time. We're just getting like little hints, little threads built here and there, and then we're gonna, drop through all the reveals at the ending. So I think that's sort of the stretch we're in. We have been getting, hints of other countries being affected by things. I'm sure people weren't very happy with Japan after the events of the Falling Devil, which apparently fucked up the entire planet. So, it's yeah. And now, Russia and the US have been pulled in, specifically losing two major devils and having their, containment facilities breached. We don't even know what else that means. So yeah, we could
Yeah.
be seeing some more international action
Just the
happening, which has
battle
already
just
happened
the battle
before.
alone is gonna be crazy, because you know that shot that Yoru just shot off, like how far does it reach? I'm pretty sure that just destroyed like a good chunk of the city, like right behind
Maybe.
Kushida. And Tank has to be worse, because
Yeah, we
Tank is
haven't
just a
seen
Yeah.
huge
Tank
gun.
do anything.
Yeah, I love to
Uh,
see what she's gonna do with Tank. A lot of people are making art
you're
of her arms transforming into the weapons. That would be really cool, but I just want to see how far reaching her powers are, and if there are conflicts that are born out of Gun and Tank being removed from wherever they were being
right.
held. That's conflict that doesn't have anything to do with Chainsaw Man. So she's going to start scaling over Kushida.
Mm,
Mm.
She has the
I
opportunity to
see. I
scale over
see.
Kushida because now her strength is not tied to his strength.
Right. It's a separate
So
kind of
Yeah.
wars being set off
we
by the
might be
War Devil
setting up for
herself.
Yoru winning, but
Classic.
it's gonna be the end of the world by the time she wins.
Yeah. Who? Because, man, one the big final moment of the chapter is that the Mouth Devil was released, was cut out of Pochita's stomach by her blast. People said he threw it up, but that is not what occurred. By the way, that would
Yeah.
not work because he doesn't have a mouth, throw up mouth. She blasted it out. The C-section theory came true. You can blow a hole in Pochita and get old things out of there. You know what I mean? Make the
Yeah.
dog give it up. Give it up. So that puts a lot of things that puts a lot of things on the table. Obviously, Yoru wanted
Yeah,
to
this is
get
about to
nuclear
get
weapons
crazy.
out, but
Like we saw mouth now, but my thought is like, what if next chapter opens up with the other devils just walking out of Chainsaw? Because he hasn't healed yet. The wound is still
Maybe.
there. There's still a probability of more things coming out. Because until he heals, we don't know if it's just going to be mouth.
that's right. That is true.
Like this has so many possibilities, and I both hate and love Fujimoto for setting it up in such a way that literally anything can happen after any chapter. You can choose any chapter
Yeah.
and erase the others from my memory. We will never be able to tell what's going to happen in the next chapter. Fujimoto has been on a
Yeah.
amazing run.
Well, with that comment, okay, there's one last thing I really want to talk about in terms of like the big reveal. Gun is back. What the fuck?
Oh yeah.
We had the bang. Bang returns to the story. Ugh, is this? Wait. 176 after 98. That makes this the um the 90 is the first
After
chapter.
98,
That makes this the 79th chapter.
78th, 70. No, wait. Yeah,
79th
79.
chapter of Chainsaw Man of part 2. Chapter 79
It's like the end
is
of the Gundevil arc
Oh
is
wow.
part
uh
one.
We're not
is
even close to part one's length.
no. No. No,
Oh
we're
my
a little
god.
close. We're in like the last
We're kind of
20.
close. We're kind of close, but we're
We're in the
still like
home stretch,
20
but
chapters off.
yeah, we
A
are at the
lot can happen in 20
chapter
chapters.
79
Uh,
is the chapter in which Aki dies.
Uh,
yeah.
So we are in the ballpark. Chapter 80 is chapter 81. So we're not quite at the bang chapter.
Yeah.
It's a little bit off, but it's pretty close. Pretty close
mhm.
to the same time near the original bang from part 1. So we're yeah, he's sort of lining up the callbacks and lining up the story arc in a way to part 1, even while it feels like very different kind of story from
Oh,
part 1. Very, very different. But uh, we still have sort of a similar, I guess, like overall pace of the story. Um,
I'm I wonder like if the first appearance of the Gun Devil was maybe Yoru's doing, trying to start
Could
conflict in
be.
order to
It's
power
like,
herself up so she can set up for whatever she wanted to do in part 2. What if she said, "All right,
uh,
go here, cause chaos, get me,
like
get
have
mommy
some fun.
stronger."
so, man, the the part 1 timeline is pretty fucking scuffed. Um, because like Denji meets Pochita after their fight, which seemed like it involved the Gun Devil. So probably,
Yeah, because it looked
probably
like Pochita
right,
Yeah.
had gunshots like in his stomach.
right, because Denji meets Pochita when he's like a kid, and then 10 years later or whatever, when he's a young man, he
Yeah,
gets involved with Makima, who's been looking for Chainsaw Man.
I could even go as far as to correlate the time where he meets Pochita with the time where the Gun Devil attacks Aki's home, and
Right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
oh
I think
Maybe,
boy,
that
yeah.
was I think that was
How old was
origin
Aki back then?
he was I mean, a kid.
we don't
I
know
don't
how
know.
old
We
he
don't know
was
anybody's
when
specific
that flashback
ages, right?
happened.
He
Actually,
doesn't do the
but he
numbers for
looked
the timeline.
but he looked older than Denji looked at the start of the story.
Yeah, he's older
Yeah.
than Denji by like 3 or 4 years or something. No one knows Denji's actual age. Denji
Like
does not know
like
his actual
we think he
age.
was 16, but when the
Six,
real
yeah,
stories are when,
something.
but we think.
Yeah,
That's why.
he said probably 16 or something. So
Yeah, probably
yeah,
16.
we
He
should go
does
by
not
that.
know.
Oh, but also Santa Claus. I think we can use Santa Claus as a way of confirming it, because I would assume that they looked into some kind of information or documentation on Denji, because when she talks to Tolka about about what they're about to do in the start of the Assassins, she just flat out says, "We're gonna kill the 16-year-old."
Uh,
I
Yeah,
think that
There you
yeah,
go.
she would
yeah. Okay.
have. I think that she would have solid information on his age.
There
So
you go.
props to Denji, man,
Okay.
Yeah,
for getting his age right.
he knew. He knew. There
He
you go.
knew, man. He's cracked.
He's smarter than he seems. All right.
He is actually.
With that setup of uh, of the story, let's talk about where it's gonna go. Let's give it our best shot.
Okay. So
We're on
All
a
right.
break week. Yoru has gauntlets. What what are
We
we
got the
gonna
creator of the
what's
bingo
gonna
cards
happen?
here with us.
Yeah,
okay. So
what's gonna
No
happen
way
in
we
the
can
next
go wrong.
chapter?
like I have a prototype bingo card here already. I would send it to you if I could, but the chat doesn't seem to be working. Um.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But,
give us
yeah. Okay.
what you
So
think is most likely off your list here.
I have a couple ideas for the next couple of. I I don't think Pochita is just going to like win immediately. That would be a. I mean, Fujimoto likes doing anticlimaxes sometimes, but I don't think that's happening here. I think either Yoru like keeps winning and keeps getting devils out, or it's like an even fight and it lasts a
Right.
bit longer. I think it's going to end with either both of them much weaker, so Fami can swoop in, maybe like
Mm,
take control of them or something, um, or with only Pochita very weakened and like you're about to kill her. If that happens, I think Asa is going to intervene. She seems
mm.
to not really want to kill Denji, and we know that when she's really afraid, loses control. And we've seen
Yes.
in like a couple chapters ago that she can like take control over individual limbs now. I think
Yes.
she's going to stop Yoru from killing Pochita.
Uh-huh. An interesting one. Okay.
Mm, yeah, the only solid ground that I can stand on with this story is the Nostradamus prophecy. You know, it does say Mars will
Yeah.
reign, so I think in some way or another Yoru's gonna come out on top. I
Hmm.
readily believe that. I'm a staunch Kushida fan, but I have to declare that it seems to me that the story is heading heavily in Yoru's favor.
Right.
That's to me. That's to me.
Yeah.
But
I
I
think
do
that
not think that she will kill Denji. Like Oligo said, like I don't think Asa's
Yeah.
gonna let that happen. And I don't think I'm gonna go very far with this. A lot of people are gonna think it may be fan fictiony, but I don't think Yoru herself will go as far as to kill Denji.
Hmm.
I think
That's.
I think Yoru has her own reasons, you know, probably influenced by Asa, but I think she's not gonna go as far as to kill Denji. Like in the conversation when Asa mentioned Denji, like, and that was before all the super hell stuff happened. Like
after we live a
when
super hell,
Asa
yeah.
mentioned Denji, like Yoru stopped. So obviously her feelings are infecting Yoru's head right now.
That's right.
So I think Yoru's
Yeah.
not gonna go that far. She's gonna win. She's gonna feel satisfied. Maybe she gets her commerce back, and she's gonna be like, "All right, we did it," and then something new is gonna pop up because we don't know what the hell Fami's doing. Uh, the Death Devil could be just I'm sorry, Fumiko could be just walking around
Let's
doing whatever.
go.
I misspoke.
Let's
I'm so
go.
sorry.
Let's go.
Like Fumiko, like we have to remind ourselves. I know we're in 55 minutes, and I don't want to spark something that
It's
takes
all
us
good.
way out of hand. But what the hell is Fumiko doing? What the hell is she? We
Yeah,
don't
what the hell
know.
is what is public safety gonna do in this scenario, right? Because okay,
They feel like helpless
here's what
bystanders right now.
here's what I think is interesting. I agree that um Pochita's gonna get yours gonna get a little get back on Pochita, right? She was getting knocked around, coming in with a sushi sword. Like, what are you thinking? Then she locks the fuck in and unleashes her full potential power, which turns out to be like broken as fuck. And it's like you were being so ridiculous. She was being so
Also,
ridiculous, coming in with these
one thing we
lame
didn't
ass
talk about.
weapons when she could
Yeah.
have been summoning shit from halfway around the world.
What do you guys
Um,
think is up with the design of the gauntlets
the
and them
gauntlets. People
looking
are talking about
like bridal
bridal
gauntlets?
gauntlets. Yeah, yeah, a little bit of
We didn't touch that, but that's interesting.
a
You
little
know?
bit of Warsaw crumbs,
Yeah, we got the
conspiracy
confirmation that
theories.
Yoru's a mother, and now
You
she's
know what I
wearing wedding garments.
mean? You
Is
know what I
this? I
mean?
don't
A
know, man.
little bit, could be a little bit of Warsaw going on there. We love to see that. Um, so I do think like story wise, it makes sense. We got to see what Tank does, right? Like, although Fujimoto might just have her go off with gun because he's like such a nerd to just leave Tank for everybody to imagine because he's just a little loser like that. But I would be interested to see something from Tank happening, some back and forth. I do think it won't be like Pochita gets washed. He got caught off guard here, which
Yeah.
happens to Pochita pretty regularly. Like Pochita doesn't have like super perception or anything. Like you can surprise him and catch him out. But when he locks in, it's serious business. So these gauntlets better be pretty strong, otherwise Yoru might be getting chopped up again. So we'll have to see exactly how guilty Yoru feels about creating these gauntlets in the next
Yeah, we
chapter. But it should be. I think it will be like an even, interesting fight back and forth. Fujima loves that kind of shit, right? Like just oh shit, oh god, what's happening? But what interests
yeah.
me is what like this whole thing. We were on a roll, just hearing about public safety's plans. This was all public safety was setting this up. They'd captured Barem and they were working with him. Knight's still alive. They have Knight's containment.
Who knows, man?
Yeah,
Who knows?
right.
Yeah.
They were just about to make a deal, and Mouth getting taken out, getting eaten, put the stop on that. But now Mouth is back, so maybe the deal's back on. Ripped to 10,000 children, right? Like that whole thing is still ongoing in the background, and even though everyone's sort of been like, "Oh yes, Yoru versus Pochita," right? This whole thing is like an artificial moment in this plot of larger forces. So I'm thinking in the next chapter, especially if Octopus comes back, because that's sort of the next one on the list, right? To come out.
Yeah.
If Octopus gets
Right.
blasted out, we can see Mr. Y come back into the scenario. He's been
Mm,
trying to keep them apart this whole time. That's been his main goal with this sort of like diffuse Asaden, the anti of uh, Warsaw, trying to keep them apart for apparently good reasons. So he could jump back in the mix. Quan Chi is still with public safety. She could come in if she's, if they want to send her in there. Kichi
If
Bay could
I fear
show
for
up at any
Quan Chi.
moment. Literally, he could show up at any time, which just pissed me
That's
off.
true, but I don't know. I don't know what Quan Chi and Kishibe. Like, if Yoshida jumps in, he might try to do like a last Hail Mary attempt to separate them, but we have to
Right.
be okay with the fact that that is suicide
Yeah.
because
Mm.
he's gonna have to be in the same room as either Yoru, who's very dangerous and who's going to be especially mad at him ending the fight, or Pushida, who's very dangerous and will just kill anything on sight.
yeah.
You know,
It's he already got octopus eaten once, so who knows?
and we don't know what
Uh,
happened to him. Also, oh man, oh
Yeah.
man. But also, who's gonna intervene in this fight? Like Quan
exactly.
Chi, Quan Chi
Well,
teaming
okay.
up with the other hybrids couldn't do much against Fushida,
The
The
aging
and that
devil,
was
maybe?
The
an
aging devil
arguably
is still
what?
there, right? The aging
Oh,
No,
aging
devil
devil.
that's
is
a
That's true.
still
primal.
right. The aging devil is still in play and is still making has some deal with public safety. They were literally just there, so you know, don't get distracted by the cool scene. There's a lot of shit still going on right there.
Yeah,
Katana
Fujimoto
Man
likes to
is
do that,
right
man.
there, where he's still, God bless him. I'm sure he's standing up and getting ready to try speed blitz again. You know what I mean? Like he's, you know, he's not just gonna go down like that.
And
So
there's a lot of things that we can speculate on because Kishibe is a big part. Because I
yeah.
think this entire plan from public safety was was basically Kishibe's doing. He
Mm,
said he was
Hmm.
gonna be super busy, and he's been gone all this time. And then right after he's mentioned, this entire plan comes into play. Right after Quan Chi's like, "Oh, an old friend of mine told me to steer clear of Denji." So I think Kishibe say, "Hey, something's gonna happen where you don't want to be anywhere near that thing."
right.
So
I man,
that's some foresight from Kishibe's side because he
that
told her stay away.
that could be. That could be. I think
Yeah,
personally, I think like his faction fell out of favor in public safety because he was opposing this plan, right? It was just like a version of Makima's plan
right.
to like use Pochita to eat stuff that sucks, like aging. Um, and this is like public safety is back on whatever that is. So I think like Hishibe's faction got run out of town or was is out of power, but that didn't stop him from trying to oppose Makima
That
before.
would be
So,
that would be incredibly good if
Uh,
public run just ran him out because he is so good at what he does that as soon as Nayura popped up, he found her. Like how? How
yeah.
was he in China? Was he talking?
he
Was he just hanging out with Quan Chi,
yeah,
and then they just ran across Nayura on the street? Like
he's a
he's
real
very good at
womanizer. He's
identifying.
got contacts in different areas.
Yeah, that's way too valuable, man. That's
Wow.
just not somebody you leave up to be a private devil hunter. Do whatever he wants.
I don't know. Public safety's been looking pretty stupid, so who knows?
Yeah, but what they did with Pushida was actually pretty smart. Like, writing down everything he eats,
Yeah,
having
Like,
it's decent.
plan, drawing him out, it's it's it's
It's decent enough.
better than what they have been doing. It's better than
That's true.
it's better than, hey, go to the movie theater, try to seduce Denji so that he works for us.
I think maybe
It's a lot
Fumika did
smarter
that
than
on
that.
her own. I think she was a little bit of an autonomous. She was a little off the rails. Well, you know
Yeah.
what I think about Fumiko and her
Yeah,
role.
uh,
devil's sweet Evelyn.
You know what I'm talking about. So we shall see what we shall see. Well, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for those predictions. Who knows what the fuck is going to happen? No one has any fucking idea what the
Oh
hell is
God.
going on in the story. Still, like, what even is it about? We don't know. It's all still up in the air because this guy is just being weird, as he does. So we'll have to see about that. Not next week, there will be a break week, but the week after that, we will be back for another chapter discussion. That's right before I leave Japan. No, no. Uh, we will have that discussion then. That'll be fun. That'll be great. I'm very looking forward to the next chapter. Oh, why was it a break week? Help.
It's gonna be
Thank you
great.
again to both my guests for coming on. Thank you all for listening. Give us your comments. Give us your thoughts. Tell us how dumb we are. These guys don't even understand what's going on. Tell us about how Chainsaw Man fell off. We will read your comment and delete your comment. Thank you all once
leave
again.
leave your opinions on
Yeah.
Yoru in the comment
Yeah,
section.
yeah. Leave your thoughts on your. Yeah, we love those. Um, we will read those and enjoy them. Thank you, everyone, again, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.